Hi everybody, welcome to Bama Blind. I'm Beverly and today's topic is going to be so fun. I'm so excited about today's topic because it's a Tesla and this is my gender reveal and the name of our Tesla. And yes, I am functionally blind, certifiably blind, and I have a guide dog, Gretchen, which I've had for 2.5 years. So this Tesla story it's just really touching to me because of the way it has come about. And so I just want to share a little bit about that with you. And hopefully I won't make it too long. And hopefully you will enjoy the story because it really is a unique story. My husband and I have been in the market for at least a year, just kind of surfing around, looking for a different car. Our car's 15 years old. My husband is 6'4", so he needs a bigger vehicle. He's always needed to be in an SUV, a bigger vehicle. And the SUV that we have now, we bought in 2005. And he's kept it very, very well. He does really good maintenance on the vehicles. So it's just in mint condition for a 15-year-old vehicle. But we kept thinking, okay, it's really time for a new vehicle after 15 years. And we're just at a time in our life that we're ready for something new. And so we started researching, and I said, if we're going to go in this direction, let's go in the direction of the future. Let's look at the autonomous vehicles, which really there aren't too, I don't think there are any out there now. I don't know, I'm not an expert on that. We were looking at these self-assist type vehicles, and my son-in-law was real persuasive when it came to the type that we were looking at. So my husband started looking at Teslas because my daughter and son-in-law have a Tesla. They bring it here. We installed a charger for them. It's an electric car. It doesn't leave a carbon footprint. You don't get exhaust from it, and you don't have to buy gasoline. So I really liked those kinds of things. And my son-in-law, every time, they have come, we've gone out in the spin in the Tesla, and it's such an amazing ride because it has such an amazing pickup and acceleration. It also is just completely quiet, and it's very comfortable. And I just love the whole experience, and I like the idea of the futuristic kind of dipping your toe into the future, so to speak, by looking at getting a self-driving car, if there is ever going to be such of a thing. So as my husband and I researched this, we found that if we looked at Teslas, we would have to get it big enough that my husband with his 6'4" stature could fit in it comfortably and have plenty of headroom, from his head to the roof, and also plenty of leg room and plenty of door space to get in and out. So, we had some criteria that we had to look at, and unfortunately, there's not a Tesla dealer in our state. So we drove to the next state over, Georgia, and I uploaded a video back in probably the middle part of this year when we were test driving the Tesla. We drove all the way to Georgia to test drive a Tesla. We narrowed it down to 2 models. And because the 2 models were bigger interiors, they had a taller roof and bigger foot space, for the driver to function. And we needed that. And it also, for me, because I'm blind and I have a guide dog, my guide dog is supposed to ride at my feet wherever I am. If I'm in the back seat, she's supposed to be curled up at my feet. And if I'm in the front seat, she's supposed to be curled up at my feet. And I have been accustomed to her not being able to be curled up at my feet in our huge SUV because it has a tiny little footwell with the passenger front seat. So Gretchen has never been able in our huge SUV to ride with me where she's supposed to ride. So anyway, we drove to Georgia, and we were looking at 2 models. We narrowed it down to 2 models of a Tesla. One was the X and the other was the Y. So we were choosing between the X and the Y, and there's a big price differential between the X and the Y. They're both considered kind of like SUV type, sports utility vehicle type cars. The X, I believe, more than the Y. The Y might be considered a crossover, but it's definitely bigger interior than, say, the Model 3. So, and it's bigger than just your standard sedan model. So we went to Georgia and we test drove a Y, and we fell in love with it. So we came home and we worked our finances, because it's a pretty big purchase, for us or for really anybody. And we worked out our finances and we decided, okay, it's either the X girl or the boy Y, and we chose the boy Y. So that was our first decision, and yes, we made the decision, the gender decision. So it was a Y, it was a boy, and we came home, we celebrated, okay, we ordered it, we're getting the Y. And so, fast forward we waited about 5 weeks. It really wasn't any longer than about 5 weeks. We waited, and we thought it would be 3 to 4 months, but we waited 5 weeks, and Tesla called and said, your Model Y is in and you can come pick it up. And so our son-in-law, who was the one that was instrumental in us helping us to select a Tesla to start with, drove us over there in his Tesla, and he knew, he knows what he's looking at and what the Teslas, he studies this stuff. So it was a big asset to have him there with us, because he and my husband had these long checklists. So when we got there and the Tesla was on the lot and we looked at it, we could spend as much time as we wanted to just going over each and every little thing that was on a checklist for a new buyer to look at before you drive it off the lot. Because like I said, it's in another state and we wanted to make sure that it was what we wanted. So we ended up doing the paperwork that evening, and signing the contract and doing the financing. We had everything in order, and then the representative said, well, what are you going to name your Tesla? And I really thought she was kidding, and my son-in-law looks at me and he goes, oh no, it's going to be on your iPhone. You're going to have an app, and your husband's going to have an app. And so you kind of need to name your Tesla, because that is what you will direct your instructions to. And there are voice commands that you can give to the Tesla on the inside. So we thought, oh my gosh, we get to name the car. And so I asked the representative, do we have to make this decision right this second? She says, not right this second, but you really do need to do it as soon as possible, because your app is going to be installed. And of course, my son-in-law was sitting over in the corner of this room, and he was already installing our apps on our iPhones for us. And I didn't know at this point he was thinking, he was really thinking of a name. I was sitting over in the corner, kind of quiet, the other corner, thinking. I was signing some papers. My husband was chit-chatting with the lady, and then she would get up and go deal with her supervisor, and then we'd come back. And, it was just a little, when you purchase a car, it takes, a little more than a minute. So we had some time, and I was just racking my brain, because this was something really special. And had I known that we needed a name for it, I would have been thinking about this, just like you think of a name of your child. So I kept thinking, this Tesla, it's so new to us. And for my husband, it's going to be so much like a guide dog. Gretchen is my guide dog, and Gretchen can get out and guide me anywhere, and I can almost be on autopilot, on self-driving, and Gretchen can take me in a very familiar place. So I was kind of playfully thinking, what is the male counterpart to Gretchen? Gretchen, I know, is a German name. Gretchen is a full-bred West German line working German Shepherd. Gretchen is perfect for her because she's German through and through. And but Gretchen translates into Margaret, into English. And so I thought, well, I can't relate anything to that name. We know that our Tesla is a boy. He's a Y model, so we've already established that. So we're going to come up with a boy name. And finally, I came up with the name Gus. Now, that doesn't sound too futuristic, but I said, I've got a name. And my son-in-law looks up from what he's doing. He goes, oh, you've come up with a name. Well, what is it? And I said, it's Gus. And he's like, oh, I've never heard, that's not a family name. Not sure where she came up with that. And it doesn't really sound, like the Jetsons, or it really doesn't sound like a Tesla name. And I said, well, I'll tell you where I came up with the name. I came up with the name because when Gretchen was assigned to me, and that was like a changing day in my life. It was October 25th, 2017. I remember it to the day. That's called Dog Day. I got my dog Gretchen. And one of the trainers told me that, she explained to me what Gretchen looked like. And she explained, where she came from. She came from a litter, and all the puppies in her litter were named with G. Their names started with the letter G. So she says, I don't know anything else about that except for Gretchen does have a twin brother named Gus. And Gus, I believe, is somewhere on the West Coast, and that's all I know. And so all these years, over the last 2.5 years, I've always thought, okay, Gretchen has got a brother somewhere. I know she's got a brother. I don't know anything else. I don't know her puppy raising family, and I don't know, who was her father, who was her mother. I know that at the Seeing Eye, they have their own breeding kennels. So I knew that they were very carefully selected, but I didn't know anything else. So I just blurted out, Gus. And when my son-in-law said, what I was thinking, I said, what were you thinking? Because I thought maybe he had come up with a really cool name, that I would consider. And he said, well, I was thinking of the male, since we know it's a Y, I was thinking of the male counterpart of Gus, of Gretchen. And I said, well, that's what Gus is. And he said, oh? And I said, Gus is Gretchen's twin brother that we don't know. We have no idea what he looks like. Probably looks just like Gretchen, but we have no idea who his handler is. We just know his birthday, and he's somewhere out on the West Coast, and he's a guide dog. So we named our Tesla Gus for Gretchen's twin brother, Gus, who we don't even know. And my son-in-law said, well, that really is going to work out well, because when you give voice commands, Gus comes out real easy, much easier than, if you said, hey, Eddie, or hey, Beatrice, or, whatever it's an easy word to say. It's an easy word for the car to understand when we start eventually calling him by his name. So now Gus is always parked in our garage. Gus is getting recharged. Gus can take us wherever we want to go and not emit any pollutants or, exhaust. And Gus is a real guide dog out on the West Coast. And Gus, our car, is the namesake for my guide dog, Gretchen's twin brother. So that is the story behind our Tesla and our Tesla's gender and our name selection for our male Tesla. And he's Gus. So I will continue this story because there are so many phenomenal parts to this story, but I just wanted to share with you that we bought a Tesla. I'm so excited. It does have so many self-driving features that I want to discuss with my blind viewers. People that are severely visually impaired are waiting for the technology. And the technology is there. We have to coordinate legal status with the technology and standards and regulations. But I want to cover as much of that as possible on my channel because it's all new to me and I think it's so exciting and it's really fun for me to look forward to the future and then tie the future into your present experiences. And my present experience is Gretchen, my guide dog, and she guides me everywhere I need to go. It's like a self-driving Tesla. So my husband now has his own guide and his name is Gus, and that's Gretchen's twin brother. So hope you've enjoyed this cute little Tesla story and look forward to more information about Gus, our Tesla, and Gus in general. And I hope you have a great, great day, everybody. Stay safe and happy. Bye-bye.